Hello, listeners. This is Lee Price,
This is Will Ford from Football 365.
and you're listening smartly to At the Bridge Pod, a Chelsea FC podcast, although I would describe it as the Chelsea FC podcast.
Magical from Eden Hazard. Kai Havertz in the Champions League final. Ivanovic! In the middle, it's just behind him. But it's tapped in by Hakim Ziyech. Matic with the ball driver. Matic takes the net off. Hat-trick hero. Cole Palmer wins an epic, sensational game.
It's time for another episode of At the Bridge Pod, your number one Chelsea FC podcast. Coming up on this episode,
there is one game left of the 24-25 Premier League season. Nottingham Forest versus Chelsea. Winner takes it all. Oh, welcome back everyone to another episode of At the Bridge Pod. And I'm joined in a virtual room filled with Chris, because we're obviously both taking some time off. Ollie's on a tour, which he's just on a tour. I think he's at the Club World Cup, which he hasn't actually told us. That's what I'm convinced of. I'm convinced.
Or he's at that women's seven-a-side tournament.
Oh, is that's something I've missed? Was there something?
I know PSG are in it. I know Man United are in it.
For some reason, that actually does ring a bell somehow. I swear I've seen like a goal highlight from it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Maybe I do know about this. Anyway, on that, Chris, it's Friday show on a Friday. And that means the question, what are you looking forward to this final Premier League weekend?
I'm looking forward to having a weekend off football, to be honest. Our season finished, so we're on our summer break now, and it is quite nice on a Friday night to not be worrying about team selections and making sure everyone's there. And I'm quite looking forward to just having a Saturday without having to worry about coaching.
I was worried then when you said the season's finished. I'm like, I hope the Chelsea players haven't thought that and gone, I'm on the beach now. I'm off to Spain. Like, please don't. We need you to kind of perform this weekend. My word. Talking of games of the weekend. Well. I've missed tonight. It's already happening, literally, as you listener. It kicks off in 2 minutes. The whole of the Serie A title race is going to be decided tonight, which I thought was interesting that they've picked a Friday to play just 2 games. So Napoli and Inter play tonight. Be interesting. I'm hoping Napoli do it because it makes Conte the greatest Serie A manager of all time to win it 3 times with 3 different clubs.
They've got there's so many ways that they win it as well that it would be a shock. I think the only way they don't is if they lose and Inter win.
Well,
but there is a way. There is a way as well that it can go to a playoff.
I know that mad playoff. I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out. On the games though, Saturday, 3:01 p.m. GMT, of course. Sheffield United versus Sunderland, Championship playoff final, the £200 million match or whatever. One of the sides will be a Premier League team next season. And then the champion. Yeah, I kind of hope that too. It'd be quite nice. You know,
just because I've seen Sheffield United in the Premier League, they were shit. Then they was in there again, and they were shit again. So, I think I've had enough of that.
If you don't come up this season, you've got to go play Southampton next season. So, just stakes couldn't get much higher. 5 p.m. Yeah. Whoa, we're not here, we're not there. But Arsenal women take on Barcelona women. Champions League final. It's one of the biggest fixtures in the calendar. Arsenal are chasing that trophy. Barcelona are aiming to rewind everyone. The standard. I don't know, that made no sense. I meant to remind everyone because I still see like a 5-0 to Barcelona because you've got to be perfect.
Do you remember when we played them in the final and we was like 4-0 down after 33 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
I think it could be another one of them.
It was very depressing, and I was like, it's one of them. It's weird because in football, even at halftime, if you were 3-0 down, maybe pushing 4, you could argue you're never truly out of a game because we saw like the likes of the Liverpool come back in 2005 against Milan. However, when it's this Barcelona team, it's like
you think,
it's over. It's over. Yeah. It's over at 2-0. It's over at 2-0.
It's although. Is it the year of the underdog?
Well, who knows? Sunday, 1:01 p.m. Charlton, Leyton Orient That's the League One playoff final. And yes, the kickoff is 1:01 p.m. I'll say why for an important reason
Why?
later. I'm gonna hold up. Hold up. I'm gonna say
Better be
that
a
in a
fucking
minute.
good reason.
You're gonna feel like shit when I tell you. You're gonna feel bad.
Okay.
Right, 4
Good.
p.m. Premier League final day. So if you're skipping the main event, shame on you, but we understand. If you care about Nottingham Forest versus Chelsea, that's going to be on. Winner gets Champions League football. That's it. Nothing else
Yeah.
matters. 5 p.m. If you think, I don't want to watch the Premier League final day. Well, you got Benfica versus Sporting Club de Portugal, and as they play in the Taça de Portugal final. So I feel like if you want to watch that, watch it. Fair play to you. Why the 1:01 p.m. kickoffs? Well, Chris and listener, it's the part of the Every Minute Matters campaign by the British Heart Foundation, which is to raise awareness of the importance of learning CPR. 1 minute delay with the hope it could inspire one life-saving action.
Oh,
Exactly.
that is a good reason that
It
has
is.
not been advertised well enough.
I've noticed that not many people, a lot of people have been saying to me this week, going, I don't understand what's going on there. Is that it's like that you've got a great campaign and you've
Yeah.
done fuck all with it. Like what?
That's it.
What? That's very Premier League and that's very football in this country at times. You're like, really?
Yeah, it
Oh
is.
man, oh, it's ridiculous. How we just managed to mess that up. So, but yeah, hopefully, listener, you now know. So there you go. Spread the word. A bit of quick housekeeping. Discord, because people love the Discord. We love you, listeners. Get on there. There's the Discord link. It is in our Spotify episode, and you just ask me on Twitter or Instagram, and I'll send you the link as well if you can't find it in the episode description. We've got new moderators. We have got Chris B and JBH25 doing the day while I'm at work. Legends. They're looking after the server, and we've also got Busha who's doing the night shift for when I'm asleep and everyone else is asleep. It's just
Nice.
It's grown so big. It's over 250 people now. And we also had a bad problem with spam bots and cryptocurrency farming bots. It was like, it's kind of need people it used to just be me. Now it's a team of 5. So no, it's not. It's a team of 4, including myself. I can't count. But yeah, just join it. Join it, listener. It's worth it. It's worth it. Right, Shevva shout-outs before we get to the news. Oh, well, here we got 4-bit. Not sure if I'm having a stroke or if I've heard couldn't hit water if they fell out of a boat the last 4 episodes in a row. May bring it into my rotation. Yeah, I've used that too much. I just noticed that. Yeah, I've been using that quite a lot.
But it's true on all 4 episodes.
It's so true. It's so true. Caroline, hi guys. Do you think if Maresca was tactically flexible, that we could go back to a back 3 with the players we have now? If so, who would the back 3 be? It's not going to be Chalobah. He's been sold.
Of course he is.
He doesn't even get an FA Cup medal because he didn't actually play in the FA Cup for Palace. You kind of have to play in the competition, despite what some people have pointed out, going, it's not fair. He didn't play in it.
Yeah. No, it is perfectly fair. I think it's ridiculous when people get medals when they ain't even at the club anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's tough though. I've been saying for a long time that I think a back 3 could work.
Mm.
I don't think it would work under Maresca though.
Oh.
I think the way he wants to play, I just don't see how the wing backs fit in. Unless you played genuine wingers as the wing backs, i.e. Victor Moses.
Classic.
Because he does like his wingers to stay wide, but then we haven't really got any wingers who are good enough defensively for when the opposition have the ball. Could work, but I don't think it works under Maresca, to be honest.
No, I'd back you on that. Oh, Jamali Smith, disappointed I didn't get my Tosin stat drop and we need an experienced striker, not Delap. Yes. Was Tosin deserving of a stat drop against Man United? Because I get the image. I've seen the image of him towering over. Was it Mount or Hoyland? I can't remember.
It was Hoyland, and
I'm not giving it him then.
Because he played against Rasmus Hoyland, no, he didn't deserve
the
stat drop.
KP, man, forgot about 3 times Palmer created where we missed all 3, and apparently you can't remember what we created. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. All right. I see where you. Yeah. All right. We do mess up. We do mess up. Right. Let's hit some news. Let's pop in that elevator of Chelsea news to see what you may have missed in the elevator of Chelsea news. Chelsea are targeting Hugo Ekitike. Frankfurt wants between 67 and 84 million pounds. Unlike Ben Chilwell, Trevor Chalobah will not get an FA Cup medal because he didn't appear in the competition. Chelsea have no intention of selling Enzo Fernandez and are determined to see any attempt by Real Madrid to sign the midfielder this summer. Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal and Newcastle are all keen on Brighton's Joao Pedro. Todd Bowley, speaking at the Qatar Economic Forum, said Chelsea's investments are mostly done, hinting the next transfer windows are unlikely to have significant spending. Chelsea are closely monitoring Rodrigo's situation at Madrid and are considering a bid. And finally, Mickey van der Ven was asked by a journalist if Tottenham is now no longer a banter club after winning the Europa League. And I put that in because I thought, honest, rivalry aside, because, you know, Spurs, Chelsea, I get it. An actual journalist asked that question. And I thought that might be the most stupid shit I've ever heard in a press conference from a so-called professional at their game.
Yeah.
You work for a bloody news, but you don't work for Soccer Circle Jerk on Reddit. You just, are you a banter club now? What? You're a professional. You cannot be like, you can't behave like that. It's like they've got a fan in. Oh, fucking hell. I ain't having that.
That
Honestly,
sums up modern journalism, though.
it's so click. It's look at Sky Sport. Look at the downfall of Sky Sports. No one
Exactly.
treats it as serious now.
No, they
Honestly,
don't.
about the Spurs Man United final, because this is all we'll say on it, because again, we don't care about either club. And I use that term loosely, by the way, final, because it might have been the most not a real game, not a real final we've ever witnessed. It was like a pre-season friendly behind closed doors in a car park. It was so shit. And I watched the
was
last
bad.
10. I watched the last 10 minutes and then I watched the highlights as well. It was shit. It was awful. I mean, the real plot twist, though, hours later, news broke that Man United are going to make 200 more staff redundant, which is genuinely baffling behaviour from a club that they just seem to find new ways to make it like a Netflix documentary that's waiting to happen. Like we're going to see it on Amazon Prime for like all or nothing, but it'll be nothing, won't it? And somehow, and this is a little rant, amidst all that chaos, players like Mateus Cunha, who I do rate, are thinking that's the project I want to be a part of. What part?
Yeah.
What part? You've got the part with no European football, the part where your career gets wrapped in like a bubble wrap and stored next to Phil Jones in the loft. Man United, to me, now are officially the siren song of English football. They lure talent in, crash that potential on the rocks of mediocrity, and then your career dies at Old Trafford.
Yep.
What?
Absolutely.
Madness. And then I'll see about Liam Delap. Why? Yeah. Before we hit record, actually, I did some digging into the United finances because I've been hearing about that all week, and I was just curious, and they're completely fucked. They've got the second highest wage bill in the league, 300 million in transfer debt they owe to clubs. They owe over $1 billion in total debt. They have a 10 million penalty they've got to pay to Adidas for missing out on Europe, a 30 million in drop in revenue from not being in Europe next season. And that's before you even get to the fact that their squad not on paper, but on the field, looks like it was assembled on Ultimate Team by a 12-year-old. It's awful. And any players who are signing for that club are signing for the money, but you might not even be able to cash the checks the club write. And I'm hot take, but honestly, if one of the promoted sides next season turn out to be half decent, I wouldn't be shocked if United are flirting with the relegation zone. I really have this idea of me in the predictions episode next season saying that they're in, I might put them in the 3 because they've got the name of a giant, but the structure of a sitcom.
They remind me of Leeds.
Yeah. It's scary how that club...
Because everyone said at the time with Leeds, they used the old phrase, they're too big to go down. But they went down.
Yeah.
Because if you keep losing football matches, it doesn't matter what you're called, you go down.
Yeah, 100%. I
worry.
Yeah.
I worry at Man United. I don't give a shit about Man United, by the way. But I worry at Man United for the women's team.
Yes, agreed.
Because I have absolutely no doubt that Ratcliffe will cut that women's team at some point.
You wouldn't be shocked if, like Blackburn this week, announced that their team's pretty much done for, and you think, Man United could easily do that, and you'd just be like, "That's But then again, he's a man of embarrassing decisions after
Exactly.
each one. It's depressing, but it wouldn't be a surprise.
No, it wouldn't be.
On the non-Chelsea, the actual Chelsea news, I must admit the Enzo thing, great decision by the club for once. Those infamous 8-year deals are actually doing what they were designed to do. Real Madrid can't like waltz in and do the Trent Alexander-Arnold special by, hey Enzo, hey, come here, can you run down your deal? Because he ain't out of contract in a year or two. He's out of contract in like 10 years or something, and it's the benefit, isn't it?
Yeah, and while that is good for us, the issue I have with it still, and I don't think this will happen, but he could still force a move.
Oh yeah.
You know, everyone's saying that, oh, Chelsea don't want to sell him, and that's great. It doesn't mean he doesn't want to go. That's the thing.
Read he wants
It's
to
Real
stay.
Madrid. Yeah, but that is what you would say publicly.
I don't. I did.
I don't think he'll push for a move. I don't think there's been any indication that he's unhappy at all. But this is Real Madrid, and normally, if Real Madrid wants someone, they get them.
Well, as of tonight, the news is that the media, apparently, this is what I've read. This is great. It says after the media propaganda and it failed to make Enzo to Real Madrid occur, they've shifted focus to Vitinha to replace Modric. I find that comical that it's almost been like admitted. Like it's like, yeah, we fucked up here.
Yeah.
It's like Mundo Deportivo have said that they've spotted him house hunting in Madrid. First of all, can I just say that means absolutely fuck all. I can house hunt anywhere in the UK. It doesn't mean I'm going to get a job in that place. Say I'm looking in Scotland. It doesn't mean I'm going to Scotland.
Exactly.
I love this is how weak the news is, because you can tell we're coming to the end of the season. It's like, oh, so didn't these guys know there's a Club World Cup double season? Look at that. Look at that. Come on. We don't even know who all the teams are yet. And it starts in a couple of weeks.
Something interesting from the news, though, I thought was the Todd Bowley comments.
Okay, in what sense?
Well, him saying that most of our transfer work's done and we're probably going to have quieter windows, and yet we're being linked with an £84 million move for Etiquette. They counter each other, don't they? Because that would suggest that we are going to spend big then. But he's saying no, we won't be.
Depends what he means.
It's either we're that like he's on a different page to what the sporting directors are doing, or and more. This is more likely, or all these stories are just bullshit.
That's probably true. And it depends what he means by significant spending. Does he mean significant spending as in multiple, so multiple signings, or huge fee signing, such as like Caicedo and Enzo were? That's you don't know, because nobody asked him the bloody question. They just nodded and went, "Oh, okay, Todd." Like,
yeah, oh. I think we're more likely to be going for your Liam Delaps and that again.
We'll see. We'll see on that. On the topic of going for Liam Delaps, we're not going for Liam Delap today because Chelsea's summer, it's not here yet. Not yet. Because we're busy, aren't we? We're doing a double season, World Cup and all that. But the scouting machine is already in overdrive because social media, I just felt like, because this is, look, let's be honest, listeners, it's a quieter week and soon we're going to be revving up for the postseason, and pretty much we don't stop because Club World Cup predictions and all that sort of stuff we've got. So I was looking at the next wave of young talents that we have been linked with. And then we've got 5 names. So some of these players, you'll go, never heard of them, Mike. It sounds like you've made them up. And that might benefit me because I've got to pronounce those names. So it might benefit me that you've never heard of them. And if you try to Google the player, they go, they don't exist. No, that's probably how I've butchered the name. So I've got these players that we could be seeing in the next year or two, maybe. So let's see. Let's see if they could make it or if we even actually sign them. So the first name is Franco Mastantuono. Mastantuono. There we go. I've wrote out in like how to say it properly. There we go. He's 17. He's from River Plate. He's an attacking midfielder. He's one of Argentina's brightest talents. He's a left-footed playmaker who recently went more viral than before for his stunning free kick in the Super Classico against Boca Juniors. And it is a beauty. It really is. And he plays centrally like a traditional number 10. But he can also dribble like a wide player. He's got a 45 million euro release clause. He's already being tracked by Real Madrid, PSG, and Milan. Not bad, not bad. Franco, he's got flair. However, we've just signed Esteban, and we've also got Kendry Pires, who play a very similar role. Do we need another left-footed number 10? Or are we going to have a squad full of highlights compilation without any, end product?
Well, we don't need another number 10 because we've got Cole Palmer, who isn't 27, 28.
No. He's getting on a bit now.
It's like we're bringing in a successor to someone who hasn't even started yet. Which actually, all what happens there is the player you have brought doesn't develop because they don't play, or they go to Strasbourg,
All that,
and then we sell them. Which, again, I firmly believe most of these signings are with the intention of them never kicking a ball for Chelsea and just flip for profit. And then unless one of them turns out to be outstanding and they almost get into the team by accident, most of these young signings are just stockpiling, ready to sell on because we could sign this lad. We could send him to Strasbourg for 2 years. He could be fantastic in France. We've signed him for 45 million. What did you say? Was it
45 million euros release? Apparently.
Euros. So what's that, like 38 million quid, something like that? Let's say 40 million. We sign him for 40 million. He goes to Strasbourg, has 2 really good years there. We sell him for 60. You've made a 20 million pound profit. He's never kicked a ball for you, but you haven't lost anything either. I think that's what a lot of these signings are. I think the only one who I think is being signed and touted for the first team, I think, is Esteval. I think even Pires is touch and go.
Really?
As to whether he'll ever kick a ball for us. I think he'll go to Strasbourg.
It's just, I mean, you look at Kendry Pires and Esteval Willian and obviously Mastantuono, and they all do play the attacking mid role or right wing. That's what I just think we don't really look. I love this guy. I've watched Mastantuono play, obviously for River Plate a little bit, especially when the hype started to happen, because it made me think, oh, is he like Julian Alvarez sort of hype? Oh, and he could be the next South American superstar. He could. And I'd argue that of all the 5 on this list, he's probably the safest bet. There's not really a safe bet. I don't think anyone who's a Wonderkid is ever a safe
He's the most well-known, isn't he?
He's the yeah. And if he stays fit and avoids injuries, he could become an absolute star. Whether he's top or world class is that's just so many factors there. There's so many. But we have enough depth in this position. That's why I don't understand. We are favourites for him, apparently, ahead of City now. Esteval would, for me, is already his competition. And then you've got Pires coming back from Strasbourg. He could be incredible. I don't see where he plays. I think it's a stockpile sign. If it's attacking midfield, we also have Palmer, who does well there. It's going to be a huge 45 million. Might not be a lot of money to some people, but it's a huge investment for what I feel is going to be little minutes. And then I look at not everyone's going to bloody play, and players who are like his age, 17 and 18. That's what Pires' age is. Pires is 18. Esteval's 18. How are they going to develop? You can't give them 5-10 minutes here and there, or play them in the cup games to develop. It won't work. What a waste of all of them.
I think the biggest sort of poster boy for that right now is Yamal.
Yes.
Barcelona gave him minutes. They didn't care the fact that he was 17. No one was saying, oh, you can't play a 17-year-old. It's too much pressure. They should be a bit part player. No. If you're good enough, you're old enough. And they gave him the minutes. And let's be fair, everyone's talking about Yamal now because of the form he's in. But for most of this season, he's been bang average. But again, he still kept playing. And so he's learned and developed. And obviously, he's going to have lulls because he's 17. But that's why you're seeing a player as special as he is now.
He was one of the standout players in Euro 2024, and he was 16. It's
Yeah.
he's his value, obviously transfer marked. It's the best place we got for a value to a point. 180 million, and he's 17, man. It's like this guy could be a superstar. He already
But
is. I mean, people are talking of the Ballon d'Or.
he'll win the Ballon d'Or multiple times in his career.
He has the potential if he stays
There is
injury free.
yeah. The only thing that would stop him now is if he goes down the Marco Reus route and just keeps getting injured. But if he doesn't, he will win multiple Ballon d'Ors because he is already essentially shortlisted for a Ballon d'Or at 17. That's
Yes.
ridiculous.
It is mad. It is mad. Yeah. Oh, right. Next player. This is a personal pick of mine. I really like this player. Ayoub Bouaddi. He's one of Ligue 1's standout teenage midfielders. He's apparently touted as Lille's best prospect since Eden Hazard. So I'm like, oh, hello. He
is another one that I do actually know. So that's a bonus.
Well, he's a box-to-box midfielder who can play. This is what I like. He can play as an 8, a 6, or even a 10. He's great at tackling, 4.15 per 90. He's great at winning duels. He's great at keeping the ball moving. His rumoured price tag's 30 million, so I'm guessing he hasn't got a release clause. I couldn't find one upon my research. So he's not going to leave till next year anyway. And for me, kind of sounds a bit like a Lavia and a Caicedo hybrid player. I don't know what would signing him add actual depth, or would it just be a bit of a logjam in the midfield development again? A bit like, I know it's a bit different to Mastantuono. He plays very different. But what do you think? What do you think, Chris?
Again, he's another one where I think we'd waste his potential because he wouldn't play enough. Because Caicedo isn't getting dropped, let's face it.
I'd hope
Caicedo's so good at the minute, you'd play him if he only had one leg. You know, and then we've got Lavia, who does most of the time only have one leg, and he still manages to play. Then you've got Enzo, and then we've got Andre Santos coming back. So it'd be another case of would he get the significant minutes that he would need to develop? But he's another one where I think he's probably, if I could pick one to sign from this list, he'd be the one because he's doing it at a good standard league. And, you know, it's not the best league in the world, but I think it carries more weight than someone doing it in South America in terms of translating to the Premier League. I think there's been a lot of successful players come from France to the Premier League. So there is a translation there. And I do think Lille do have a habit of producing good players. So he'd be the one I would go for from the list. I'd just, again, be worried about would he get significant minutes in terms of being able to get the experience to grow.
I mean, from what I've seen of his style of play, it is box to box. And so, listener, think Rodri or Frenkie de Jong. I'd like to state, though, that any time that I have ever compared players, especially at this age, I'm not stating they're going to beat them or even close to that level. I just have to choose players that I feel that remind me, at least, of their play style. So then the listener themselves could go, oh, okay, because you have to compare them to someone. Again, not saying that they are them. They just play similar. And I think Bouaddi would have to head to the Cobham gym to develop in the Premier League because despite he has a great eye for a pass and he has elegance in midfield that's beautiful to watch. He's not a very physical player. And if you're going to be box to box, especially in the Premier League, you kind of have to be a little bit more physical because it's so demanding we've seen Lavia get injured how many times? You gotta have that physicality on you. Okay, this is going to be a name I absolutely love to pronounce. Konstantinos Karastas. He's a 17-year-old Genk midfielder, attacking mid again. Look at that, a creative attacking midfielder we're linked with. He switched national teams recently from Belgium to Greece. With that name, I was actually very shocked to see that he...
Yeah, I'm shocked he's not Greek anyway.
I was like, what? Okay. Quick dribbler, thrives between the lines. He's already delivering 2.5 key passes per 90. He's valued north of 25 million euros and has interest from Liverpool, Man United, don't know how they can afford him, and Newcastle. He's, I mean, well, Karastas, he's getting gank minutes at 17, and
Which again is good.
it is good. And with Nkunku lightly out the door, what do you think? Would it be smart to invest in a pure 10 like this now?
Oh,
We are actually linked with these players. That's what's mad. We've got to accept it. We are linked with them.
it's hard to say no because even if the model is sign them, sell them, that is good business.
Yeah.
And then, that is what allows you to then go and sign the big name players that the team needs by doing those sort of things. So it's difficult to say no to any of these. But I almost can't look at this as a Chelsea fan. I just look at it as like a football person. And I just think we're at risk here of ruining a lot of careers, or not ruining, because I'll still go on and have a good career somewhere, but
Yeah.
almost hampering. So, we could sign this kid.
Mm.
And yes, he could go out on loan for 4 years and he'd get some good loans. And then we'd sell him.
Yep.
But would he develop as much as he would have if he'd got that move right in the first place? Because I don't think players develop that much on loan simply because it's not your club.
Mm.
And it's
I see,
difficult
yeah.
to be all in at a team that you're not going to be at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So
that's why like players like Foden and that City Guardiola wanted to keep them, because
yeah,
they wouldn't develop into what he wants at another. Andre Santos is is a rare unicorn example, because we pretty much, that's our B team. We've already got our blueprint on it.
and you are right. He's almost the exception that proves the rule. The reason why he's being talked about as being so successful on loan is because players aren't successful on loan for the most part. Most players you loan out come back either the same or worse than when you sent them out. We haven't had many players go out on loan and come back a better player.
That have actually played for us, I'd say.
Well, I would argue even like people will bring up Reece James, Mason Mount, maybe Tammy Abraham.
Lukaku, Daniel Sturridge. They all still, everyone forgets 12, 13 years ago, Daniel Sturridge went on loan at Bolton, was amazing. And then obviously he moves on to Liverpool. He didn't win anything, but he still was amazing there.
Yeah. But I mean, you take those two as an example. Let's talk about James, Mount, Abraham, right? I don't think they came back to Chelsea better players. I think the fact that we had to play them and they knew that they was going to get significant minutes in the first team, that's what made them better players. If they'd come back to us that summer and we didn't have the transfer ban and we'd signed, the players we did the summer after, Kai Havertz, Timo Werner, their minutes in our team would have been significantly decreased. And I don't think anyone's talking about them because I don't think they develop at the same pace. I think they developed in our team, not out on loan. They came back. They did have good loan spells, and they came back more experienced, obviously, than before because they went and played. But I don't think that's what pushed them to be successful Chelsea players. It was the situation they came back to. I think if you're bringing back a lone player now, like we would do with all these kids, into an environment where we keep signing players and we're having high turnover and there's already good players in your position, I just don't think you'd see these players develop enough out on loan somewhere to come back and force their way into the first team.
Okay. I took a look at Karastas. He gives me a bit of an Amad Diallo vibe, a bit more flair, and I'm a bit wary of him because I almost feel like the reason he has that 40 million price tag is because Bayern showed interest recently, and in the current climate, I cannot blame any club. If you have a young player on your books and you're not a powerhouse team, like one of Europe's elite teams, you just slap that insane price tag because it either puts teams off, and if they do bite, you've just made a huge profit that will help your finances.
Yeah.
And I can't blame them. I don't think he's ready for the Premier League at all. He'd need a good series of loans, and like you said, doesn't mean they're going to develop well for the Premier League or even for your club. And he suits a 4-2-3-1 setup. That's what he's used to. We don't do that.
Yeah,
we don't play
absolutely.
that. We play inverted fullback. It is what it is, and this is what I mean. You've touched on it well. We've got 2 more names on this list left. And some listeners might go, we're never signing them. Why would we want them? Do you want us to sign them? It's not about what we want. We have to speak what we see. And we're linked with these players because that is the Chelsea model now. We don't seem to sign. There's rumours we'll sign veterans this summer. What do I always say? I forgot what I say. I say something about my eyes. How have I forgot my own saying? That's a classic saying of mine. I've totally forgot what it is. Oh, that's really bad. Something about my eyes. I'm gonna have to Google my own saying. I wrote down. I once wrote it down on an episode title. But on that point, look, he's a young player. He'd go to Strasbourg straight away. That's the thing. And I've just remembered. I see better than I hear. There we go. I've remembered my own saying. But I do. I see better than I hear. And right now, no, not for me. It'd be silly. It would be silly. So, on that, next player. Oh, I'm so glad I can say this. Chris Rigg. I can't butcher that name. He's 17, Sunderland player. He's an attacking midfielder. But he's a dual threat midfielder. He's a dual threat midfielder. He's also box to box or a number 10. He plays both for Sunderland. He's got good passing, good vision. He has that defensive engine. Recently signed a 3-year deal with Sunderland, but if they don't get promoted, clubs are apparently looking. Liverpool, Man United again. I don't know how they can afford it. So his profile seems a bit more tailor-made apparently for the Premier League because he's had that Championship experience. But it's again, does signing another English midfielder make sense when we've already got Kellerman? Yes, we have him. Remember, we paid a lot of money for him. We've got Chukwuemeka because technically he's still on our books. We've got another midfielder. We've got a Mugu, and we've also potentially still got Dewsbury Hall on the box. I don't know. Great potential though. We say that about every player we're ever linked with or signed.
And he's had a really good season for Sunderland, but again, it's the Championship. Dewsbury Hall was really good in the Championship as well. Let's forget that the issue is probably 10 years ago. Maybe longer, but maybe 10 years ago. I think you could look at a player in the Championship who had a really good season and think, actually, they realistically can translate that form, enough of that form to the Premier League to be successful, because the gap between the Premier League and the Championship wasn't as big. The gap is massive now, and you are seeing it every year by the fact that the teams who come up go straight back down. And this is players. You look at the 3 that have gone down this year. They all had players who are too good for the Championship. That's why they got promoted.
Yeah.
But all of their players have been fucking horrendous in the Premier League. Because the gap is too... You almost need a league between the Championship and the Premier League now. The gap's that big. And this is the issue. If you're going to sign a player who's been good in the Championship, you can't be in the top half of the Premier League. You can't be a team that's top half of the Premier League. You just can't. You need a team in the bottom half of the Premier League to sign them first, see if they can do it in the Premier League, and then you sign them. But that's how you end up paying 100 million for them.
It's funny.
10.
You make a point about the relegation teams. Like we're talking, I know some people on this season. Yeah, but Leeds and Burnley got 100 points. Now, for record, that's I'm not knocking that. Great achievement. 100 points is always incredible. Doesn't matter what league you're in. That's still an incredible achievement. However, Leicester got 97, scored 89 goals last season. Last season, sorry. And Ipswich got 96, 92 goals. I don't know what more I can say to that. You kind of knew. It proves nothing. It doesn't matter what they did in the Championship, does it? Let's be honest.
Well, here's what's funny. So Leeds and Burnley both got 100 points.
Yes, they did.
Right. Burnley's defensive record was fucking insane.
Oh, yeah.
every single person will have them two to go back down.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you don't, that's just because you want to believe that one of them will be good enough to stay up. But you wouldn't put your house on it.
No, I'm not. As much as I really want to put Sheffield, I'm not saying that Sheffield United will get promoted, but the playoff team usually do struggle. Usually, someone's going to
Yeah.
fact check me
You
on
know,
that. But if they get promoted, it will be the playoff team. It will be probably Burnley and Man United in my prediction. But you never know.
Leeds could stay up. They could stay up.
Mm.
Burnley could stay up, but they won't, because everyone said the same about the teams who came up. Everyone said the same about Burnley when they came up with Vincent Kompany. Oh, look at the football they play. Kompany's an up-and-coming young manager. They've got a decent squad. They've got enough Premier League experience in their squad. I think Kompany will be good. I think, they could finish about 14th. They went down for whimper. Didn't even put up a fight. Relegated by Christmas. Pointless.
Yeah.
The issue is that the gap between the Premier League and the Championship is too big, which means if you're signing players in the Championship and you are a top 6 team, those players are not going to be successful at you. Not a chance.
Yeah, I see your point. Final name. Oh, I've practiced this one because is he a Georgian player? I think he's a Georgian player. He's 16, plays for Dinamo Tbilisi. He's a left back stroke centre mid. Saba Karbashvili. Woo! I Googled that name so much this week to get that right because I was like, Karbashvili, I can do this. Left back, he's been playing senior football since 15. The hell?
Wow.
Yeah, bad. He's got aggression, he got quality crosses, leadership traits, apparently, according to Tbilisi. He can also play midfield. Won't be eligible for an international transfer, of course, till 2027. We're watching closely. This one's obviously a long term because he's 16, people remember. But he's already a first teamer in Georgia at 16, which, again, you got the quality of the league and all that, whatever. However, it's kind of one that you think, do we take a punt on it early and make the move, or wait and risk losing him to a club like a Benfica or a Leipzig, who they love this profile, don't they? And then they flip for a huge profit.
At least he's not an attacking mid. Well, this is the thing, isn't it? And this is why I'm not dead against any of these transfers, because if we don't let's take him as an example. If we don't sign him, and then I don't know, Red Bull Salzburg do, and he goes there and does really well, and then he starts doing it in the Champions League. All of a sudden, he's being linked with the top teams in Europe, and he's going to cost you 80 million.
Yeah.
And then everyone's going, you should have signed him when you was looking at him 2 years ago. But I think what fans have got to understand is when or if we sign these players, it is with no intention of them playing for the Chelsea first team, unless it's by accident. We are purely signing these players to sell them for profit, or to sign them just in case they turn out to be really good, and then we don't have to pay 80 million for them.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's that they're not coming in with being earmarked as, well, we'll sign him now because then by the time he's 21, Cucurella would have retired, and then there's a clear progression there. No, that's not how it's happening. What'll happen is he'll come in, we'll send him on loan, we will sign another left back as a backup to Cucurella.
Yeah.
He'll then turn out to be really good, and we'll think, shit, we've got 3 left backs all of a sudden, because it turns out he is really good.
Do you remember Aaron Alsamino? We've still got him.
Exactly.
We do like to stockpile.
Yep.
But if we could sign one of these 5, who would you go for? I personally, I'm choosing Ayub Bouaddi because
same
box to box energy. He's already shining in Ligue 1. So assuming that he spends another season at Strasbourg, that's only going to improve. He's going to adapt to the Chelsea style of play. And look, we don't know the long-term availability of Romeo Lavia. I love that guy. He's so talented. But again, you've just got to be... This would be a smart business move, and it adds depth. I'd say he's the less risky option because of that. And again, we'd flip him for a profit if he never plays.
Well, yeah,
Does
you
he
would do because he's proved that
guaranteed?
he can do it in a good European league.
Yeah.
What is
Oh,
considered a top five European league. So even if he came to us and failed, someone else in League One would take him.
yeah, 100%. Listeners, there we go. Who would you sign? Who would you sign to the five? And yeah, hey, how about maybe recommend a player who's under 20? I'd say 23. That was what I originally put in this script, under 23, but none of these players are even 20. None of these players probably can buy a drink in a pub. So,
Yeah, so recommend any player whose age starts with one.
yeah. Yeah, Cristiano Ronaldo's son scoring goals, and I've genuinely seen clubs linked with him. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, what are we doing? What is this? What is the world? There was a team going around. Who was it? In like 20, 15 years' time, we're going to have a front three of the world's best 11 would be Sergio Aguero's son, Messi's son, and Ronaldo's son. I'm like, you do realize that's not how football works. It doesn't work
Yeah,
like that
no,
because
it's
otherwise,
actually rare, isn't it?
yeah.
That
Look at Beckham. They were like, Brooklyn's going to be the next Beckham. He's
yeah,
shit at football. He's also
yeah.
he's not. He's no. It doesn't work. Oh
None
my
of his
word.
kids have hit a decent level of football.
I think one plays tennis. I think I don't fucking know.
So again, that's why you have people are so surprised when you get things like Justin Kluivert.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say have multiple kids. Like one of these will play football. Right, let's move to line of the week because we've got this Sunday. We close out our 24-25 domestic campaign as we take a trip to Nottingham. Gary Neville's not coming. We found that out today. What a pathetic small club mentality of Forest to complain that and ban him from the ground. Oh my word. Anyway,
What's that? I've missed that.
you've missed it.
Yeah,
Basically, he posted a statement on LinkedIn earlier today. Gary Neville did, and I'll just pull the statement up because it's absolutely mind-boggling, absolutely bizarre that this has happened. So, where's Gary's bloody statement? Oh fuck it, I'll just read the. Anyway, Nottingham Forest have banned Gary Neville from their ground this coming Sunday. That was reported by the Daily Mail. And then
right.
Gary released his own statement, which I'm trying to bloody find, and I've absolutely lost it. No one calls this club a club. No one can call this podcast unprofessional. Let's look for the bloody Gary Neville statement because it's
Bad for
ridiculous.
everything.
Well, there we go. Neville statement. Here we are. I found it. So, I was contacted by Sky Sports earlier on in the week and told that I would be commentating at the City Ground on Sunday for Forest versus Chelsea. I was informed yesterday by Sky Sports that Nottingham Forest would not give me an accreditation or access to the stadium as a co-commentator. I have no choice but to withdraw from the coverage. I've dished out my fair share of criticism and praise in the last 14 years of doing this job and have never come close to this unprecedented action. Personally, I think it's disappointing that a great club like Nottingham Forest have been reduced to making such a decision. Whilst they have every right to choose who they let into their own stadium, it's symptomatic of things that have happened over the last 12 months with the club. I wish the coaching staff, players and fans of the club all the best in their quest to achieve Champions League football. Apparently, Forest are said to have formally complained to Sky about Neville when telling the broadcaster he won't be granted press access to this weekend. And it's apparently due to a negative reaction that he made about the owner, Evangelos Marinakis, when he stormed onto the pitch following the recent draw with Leicester City.
So you're telling me football clubs now can ban a commentator or a pundit from their ground because they
Yep.
didn't like what he said on coverage?
Yep. And technically,
Well,
they
what's the
own-
point in having them there then? I'll get rid
they
of them.
own
Then. No point.
they own that ground. That's private property, and it's just such. I'm sorry, it's such a small club thing.
Fucking hell.
Like what?
Yeah.
Like Forest are a big team in history. They are. You know, listeners, if you don't know, they won Champions Leagues. They were historic. They had Brian Clough. You know, they had top players. They had Martin O'Neill, not the manager Martin O'Neill, the same person, but when he was a player. You know, incredible history. And you've just got, I don't want this guy. He said something mean. Like, come on. You know,
To be fair, though,
we get criticised all the time.
Their owner seems like a prick.
But anyway, right. Who should let me rewind. Where are Forest? They're Forest. They're currently 7th. They have a record of 19 wins, 8 draws, 10 defeats. Recent forms: 2 wins, 2 draws, and 1 defeat in the league. Who should you be keeping an eye on in this one? Probably Chris Wood, Morgan Gibbs-White, Anthony Elanga, Elliot Anderson. There's a lot of attacking talent there. So yeah, the last time they beat us in the Premier League at the City Ground was this is nice. The 11th of January 1997, and we had a strike force that day of Zola and Mark Hughes.
What
So,
a team.
what a team. Wouldn't be a preview, of course, without me telling you what was the UK #1 hit when this last happened. And it was 2 become 1 by the Spice Girls.
I was gonna guess Spice Girls.
Well,
That's
you'd have
so
been
mad.
right. Christmas #1. I mean, are Chelsea as good as I remember, baby? Get it on, because Sunday is the night when we win 2-1. Well, I hope so.
Oh, nice.
I need Champions League football like I've never needed it before. Okay, that's enough. Right, stage set. Lion of the Week predictions. I was so tempted to go Mark you.
I know exactly who I'm going for. I'm going for Moises Caicedo, and I'm going for Caicedo because the absolute key to beating Nottingham Forest is to stop their counter-attacks.
Yeah,
And Caicedo is the best at that.
you're right. You are so right. And it's also the final Lion of the Week to predict who's going to take home the crown out of all of us, and also the actual Lion of the Week for the season. So that way we get a kind of a Player of the Season award.
Well, Lion of the Week of the season is Caicedo.
I haven't checked who's top of the chart, but you
It's got to
might
be Caicedo.
Let me have a look. Hang on. Caicedo's got 8.
Yeah, he's
won. He's won because
He's
only
won.
Cole Palmer's near him on 5, and
Yeah.
he's not gonna.
Unless
he's not-
Cole Palmer's that good on Sunday that we give him 3.
No, it's not going to happen. You know what? I'll believe in him. Cole, you're going to deliver Champions League for us. I'm going to put you down on there. So let's have a look what the wheel said. By the way, Napoli have just scored. Can you guess the player?
Scott McTominay.
It's Scott McTominay who scored. Oh my God. That guy is literally, he went to Napoli.
He has
He's become
been
like the
unreal.
greatest of all time.
And do you know what? I'm really glad for him because I thought he was really underrated and overhated at Man United. I never understood why Man United fans hated him when actually he did such a good job for them. And they tell you what, they'd love to have him now.
Yeah. The wheel, I don't know what the wheel's thinking here. It's gone in Kunku.
Well, Nkunku will be great at home.
Wow.
He'll be the best player in his own back garden.
Yeah, he might play. We don't know. We'll go to Quaresma's questions because I have them in front of me. I don't have them in front of me. I do now.
No, I was going to say, you sure?
Right. Sumabia, if we're back at the Champions League, get Mourinho back. Oh, I don't know. Rock it up back to the trophies, even if he crash and burns. I don't think Mourinho will ever. I think he'll go and be the next Portugal boss.
Yeah, I think he hinted at that, didn't he, a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, he loves that. It makes sense and fair play to him because he wouldn't probably blow it up with his usual temperament because he's only with them so many times a year.
Yeah, exactly.
Alexander, this is a good one actually. Are we all in agreement that we don't need Joao Pedro?
Yes, we are in agreement of that.
I'm not. I won't lie. I'm not going to suddenly tell you he's the best player. I don't think we need him. That's just the model we go with now.
First, again, not a bad player, but not a great player. Injured a lot,
Penalties,
and does keep getting sent off.
Yeah, but it's the penalties that bother me. He was like top scorer, and people going, "Oh, he got 6 penalties." It was something stupid. I haven't got the stat in front of me, but it was stupid enough for me to go, "Don't like that."
Yeah,
because
I agree.
If you want to put that out, Jorginho was a great goal scorer for Chelsea.
Unbelievable.
Wasn't he top scorer one season?
Yeah, he was with 6 goals.
Jeez, man. Oh, this is yeah.
It's bad, isn't
It's
it?
one of them. It's one of them. I've mentioned this player earlier. JMC09. Would you take Julian Alvarez at Chelsea? Yes, but it's 100 million plus now.
Oh yeah, because I mean, Atletico
good.
paid that for him, didn't they? They paid what? It was upwards of 75 million, weren't it, for him?
Yeah. It was
So you're paying a lot of money, and again, he's been really good for Atletico. But would he be that goal scorer that we need? Because he wasn't at City, I know they had Haaland, so he kept being played in different positions, but I'm not convinced he's that guy in a Premier League team. I think he's very good in Spain, but I'm not convinced he'd be that guy in a Premier League team.
No, that's true. That's true. Just a quick one before we move to the next question. Como have just lost Jose Pepe Reina to a red card. How's he playing? He's 42. He's
Yeah,
42.
Isn't this his last ever game as well? He's
Is it
retiring, isn't
fuck? Is it fuck? He'll play again. He's like Tom Brady of goalkeeping. He's not that good. He's still not good at 40. He's fine. He's fine at 42. This one deserves the good old alarm. Where is it? Where is it? There it is. No Lawsco says thoughts on Strand Larsen striker. Yes, as someone who's seen him in the flesh, yes, he's 6'4". He's he's got a cult hero status already at Wolves, and as far as I'm aware, he's only on loan with not an obligation they've got sorry, I've just read it here. They've got a 30 million euro obligation to buy. Well, that's not going to happen then because we're going to be paying double that.
Yeah. I don't mind him. He's a backup option. Obviously, I wouldn't even dream of signing him to be our starting striker. But I have liked him every time I've seen Wolves play. I think he is very good, occupies centre backs, good with his back to goal, makes intelligent runs. He's good in the penalty area. Not a prolific goal scorer, but it'd be a good like Loic Remy type, Michy Batshuayi type to have around.
You know what? From first-hand experience, one thing I like about him is he's not phased by a setback because I watched him. I think it was it Spurs or was it Leicester? I think it might have been Spurs. Anyway, he missed a sitter and it was ridiculously bad. And it was offside. It was flagged for offside, but it doesn't matter. You still missed it. It's still going to be in your head. And he didn't let it bother him. He then scored later on in the game from a great move and then he took the piss out of himself, missing it. Like, took the piss for his celebration. And I just thought it just shows the mindset of that player. And it's the kind of attitude that we need in our squad. We need that proper mentality of a striker. Like, you know what? I missed stuff. It's fine. Get on with life. Watch me score in the next game. I'd love him. I'd love him. It's just realistically, I just don't see how we're going to pay for
No,
him.
because he's not worth anywhere near that. I mean, I wouldn't pay the 30 million that they're going to pay. So I certainly wouldn't pay over that.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree there. Right, we'll wrap it up. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put in one more because we haven't got a quiz because there's only yourself here. We've got a few questions on Trevor Chalobah. So Joao and T1 and No Lawsco. We'll combine it together. Keep or sell Trevor Chalobah? You got to say it as yourself, not the owners.
I would keep him. I think he's good to have around the squad. Fills the homegrown quota as well. Wants to be at Chelsea. Can play a couple of different positions. Can play in different systems. Has proven himself to be a Premier League level centre back. I'd rather sell Fofana.
Yeah, I agree on that. It's just how you're going to get him off the books of his wage. Well, that's realistic. No one's paying him that wage. And he has every right, whether we like it or not, he has every right to go, I'm not accepting a penny less than what I'm on here.
Yeah, that's
because he may never get a contract like that again.
Well, no, he definitely won't.
And that's the thing. He has every right to go, I've weighed this option up. I'm not convinced.
He's got to start playing though at some point.
Would be nice. Because best ability is availability. And he's not available. And we put him in the last chance saloon for a reason. And he's kind of, with time's been called. I've called it. I think it's done. It's over.
So the thing is though, with players like Fofana, I think players need protecting from injuries because they don't want to be injured.
No,
but at the same time, I also think clubs have to be protected. And if you sign a player and you put him on 200 grand a week, on a 5-year contract. And then 2 years into that contract, he keeps getting injured and he keeps playing less than 15 games a season. I think his wages should half.
I don't see how you could legally do that.
No,
'Cause even if
there probably isn't a legal way of doing it. But what I'm saying is that the clubs don't seem very protected in these contracts.
Hmm.
And this is why I think, as a club, I would rather their base wage be quite low and just fucking fill it out with bonuses.
I think the PFA would say that if that was ever brought in, they would
Yeah,
raise
because I know
something.
I know what they'll say. They'll say, "Oh well, he's got to make a living." I'm sorry, but if you're going from 200 grand a week to 100 grand a week, you're still living quite comfortably, considering you're doing nothing. You're getting paid 100 grand a week to sit on your ass.
Yeah, I saw something recently about like I'm a little biased because I'm a Seahawks fan, but when Brock Purdy, the quarterback for the Niners, got that nice contract, and they went, he's taken a significant pay cut to, to build a team around him because he was fair. It's a great story because he went from literally the last pick of the draft, which was Mr. Irrelevant, to doing that. Amazing story. And I'm not going to knock him for it. Fair play to you. However, they were going, oh, he's took such a significant pay cut. He's on 44 million a year now. That's not I would love that. What a significant pay cut I've took. 44 million a year. It's like, come
Did
on.
we sit? Did they send him a breadbasket or?
And it was just the way that it was. I can't remember what it was. A $265 million contract. But it was the way I was reading some NFL journalists talk going, it's a significant pay. He's on a shitload of money. Oh, come
But
on.
that's the thing, isn't it? Like, yes, it is a significant pay cut. It'd be like now you look at someone like Marcus Rashford, who's on like 350 grand a week at Man United. He could go and sign for someone on 150 grand a week, and you could call that a significant pay cut, and
Yeah.
you'd be right.
Yeah.
But the context is he's still earning a fuckload of money, so it's irrelevant because it doesn't matter that he took a pay cut because he's still earning more than most people will earn in their life.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I would like to point out about Manchester United and wages, if you wondered, that now Bruno's on 300 grand a week. He's probably their best player, and he has every right to go, I'm worth it because without me, you're shitter than you think. You're probably right, mate. Casemiro on 350 grand a week is brilliant. What a signing. It's the third signing, the third highest paid player at that club that still to this day makes me laugh. It's Mason Mount on 250. Like, you couldn't make that up. It's such a home, mate, home. Oh, what a disaster. It's a disaster for everyone. Apart from Chelsea.
Stealing a living.
Chelsea are the winners of that deal. We got a significant amount of pure profit money, but Mason Mount's had an awful time there. Man United have got an awful deal out of it.
I think people as well now, though. I think people have become almost desensitized to this because it's just numbers you hear thrown around. But can you honestly imagine earning £250,000 a week every Friday?
It's insane.
250 grand goes into your bank. That is ridiculous to even think about. Like, some people. There's competitions on the radio that give that away, and everyone and like rightly so, the people who win it call it life changing, and it is. And then you've got someone like Mason who's getting that every Friday.
It's bad because I know people go, yeah, it's different. It's because them players live a 250 grand a week lifestyle, and I'm pretty sure that none of us listening are on that money a week. If you are, wow, well, good for you. Fucking good for you. But if we were on that money, I think we'd have some luxurious purchases. We'd probably not care about we'd buy little things. I think we'd all probably just be like, I'm going to live in a nicer house, have a nicer car. I don't think we would buy all the jewelry and all the gold and be like, whatever you do with that money. I don't think we would. I certainly wouldn't. Because my life, I'd have a nicer house. I'd have a different car to my Toyota. I'd have, but I wouldn't go and I don't know.
I'd
250 grand a
live
week,
in
man.
peace. Is what I would do.
Yeah,
I would live in peace.
250 grand a week. It's mad. It's fucking insane. Right, on that absolute bombshell of a note, the end of another episode. Before we go, proud to remind you of the partnership with Head in the Game, mental health charity using football support wellbeing and community. Check them out, headinthegame.co.uk. Treat yourself well. We'll be back on Monday to conclude our final winners and losers of the first half of this double season. So, till next time, it's a double season. So, till next time, that'll be us signing off.
You've been listening to At the Bridge Pod, a Chelsea FC podcast. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram by searching for At the Bridge Pod. And if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, leaving us a review is always appreciated.